Welcome to The Lift with Sheila Robinson-Kiss. Come on in. There's always a special place set aside for you here where you can relax, kick up your heels, pour yourself a nice, refreshing drink, and prepare to be lifted and soar. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, and welcome back to The Lift with Sheila Robinson-Kiss. Your Auntie Sheila is in the house as always. It's just a privilege to share with all of you. Listen, if you're loving what I'm doing, please don't forget to subscribe, hit that thumbs up button, and please share the news of the channel with your friends and family. We're going to dive into a very juicy topic in just a moment. But let's start out the way that we always do. I'm going to ask you to, let's just get centered. Close your eyes and go ahead and make your wish. I'm going to do the same. Okay, thank you so much. Keep your hopes and dreams and your wishes alive. And let me tell you why. Because every single day, they are coming true. I'm hearing from so many people wonderful things happening in life and relationships and work and travel. So don't ever, ever give up on those dreams. Let's dive in. Juicy topic today. Are you talking too much? This is part two. In the end cap of this video, I'm going to link up part one. It's kind of a three-part series because that first video was extended. But I felt like since I had made the last Are You Talking some years ago, we all evolve, grow, and change. I have some additional information to offer on this topic. And also some things have been coming up with some letters that I've received, people reaching out with certain situations. So I just want to lay it out to you. And as you know, the only thing that I'm doing at this stage in my life, in my career, my sojourn, this is a time of just synthesizing information in the most thoughtful way. I can give it to you as I know it and give it to you straight. For there's only one purpose and one purpose only, and that is for your elevation, period. I want you to have the best possible experience out here. And what I'm bringing you, as you all know, it's not a hobby for me. I'm a trained and licensed therapist. I'm a mental health educator, share messages around the world about this work. It's quite laser focused. This is all I do. It's my life's vocation. Having said that, let's go. Over talking, oversharing. I've seen this cost people dearly. I could share hundreds of examples in this video, but I'm just going to share a few. I want to start with some of the reasons why we overshare. And there's a nuance between speaking, sharing, advocating, what the case may be, whatever the case may be, and just going to the extent where the sharing or the information that you're providing is a blowback and damaging to you. Sometimes we do that because of just excitement. It's just sheer, I'm elated, I'm excited, and more extra information will bubble out. I'm going to deal with that. Sometimes it's for validation. I'm just sharing because I kind of want that pat on the back. It could be for sympathy. Oftentimes, and I'm going to spend a chunk of our time together on this, people will overshare when they're in emotional distress. And the information is coming out because there's been no time to organize it. People are going through things in life, have not set up the appropriate resources for support. So sometimes anyone who's in front of them, they're sharing. And then there are times that folks are oversharing out of a sense of confusion or and bragging. People do that. That's been done. I'll raise my hand. I've done that a time or two, but I'm going to talk about the folly involved in that too. Again, this is a real world channel. And that's what I love about it. I hope that's what you love about it too. Let me start with, I'm going to be focused in on some particular areas of life first. I want to talk about the workplace because people have been reaching out to me over the years with in various situations. So I just want to say a few words about being careful what you share inside of the workplace and always being mindful. Work is work. That's our primary focus. And please, I love to hear from you, but please don't anyone write and say, oh, you're saying we can't make friends at work. I have a few very close and dear friends that I made inside of a work capacity, that I made inside of work setting. Very few and far between. I'm not saying that can't happen. It can. We're not robots, we're human beings. I'm saying we need to be very careful, and everyone in the workplace is not your best bud or your best friend. Let me give you just a couple examples here where you want to be mindful at all times. Number one, the world is very small. And number two, stay aware of your settings. A woman reached out to me in a complete panic. She had taken a new position. She was there for about a year and started talking, oversharing, gossiping to her office mate. And it will come out shortly after she dropped some her true thoughts and opinions of the CEO of the organization that her office mate was the CEO's goddaughter. And so it created such stress and tension. She ended up needing to leave that position. And, they didn't, a lot of people, favors, nepotism, whatever, it runs rampant in organizations. And it may not be that folks are related, they're just friends. My point is, you don't know how people are allied and positioned. The best thing you can do in a work setting is stay focused on your work. Stay out of gossip, stay into what I call just a neutral zone of productivity. It's very tempting, but trust me, the world is very small. Want to stay with the work setting for a while. And oversharing in a work setting when you're inside of emotional distress. There's a part of my body of work that all I talk about is forming grounding connections and what that can do for your life and what that can do for your mental health. There was a gentleman, he reached out, another distressing situation. He was going through a divorce, and he shared that with his HR department. Nothing wrong with that. Very appropriate. There are things you're going through where you're going to miss time. There maybe you need time off. Overwhelmed. Great move. He let him know what was going on. Thumbs up. However, what was also happening is he was coming into the workplace highly emotional, sharing a lot of salacious details about the divorce, what was going on with the custody battle. It was extremely distracting, and it really set him on a course that was very, very unpleasant in his workplace. I mean, that was a position that he almost ended up in jeopardy of losing for one reason only. He had not set up any support for himself. That the place to process your divorce or what's happening personally with your finances, that's not the workplace. The place to process that, counselor, a treasured friend, making sure you're working out, eating right, journaling, so you can stay level and focused. So his oversharing it was not the fact that he was going through a life transition. We're not robots. That's going to happen. It's the fact that he was oversharing, distracting himself and distracting others in the workplace. Take care of yourself. It is not fair or appropriate to use the people around you, particularly when they don't want to be in that role. They don't want to be in that role. That's not the appropriate setting for it. That is not their role. So paying close attention to that. And then I'm going to give you a sidebar. This is something that I went through personally. It's not necessarily didn't happen in the workplace, but it's work related. You need to be careful who you're sharing your good news with as well. I had worked just for a little bit. This was almost like a mentoring situation, someone that I looked up to who's a prominent figure in the world and empowers people all over the globe. And an opportunity had uh, come up for me. I was super excited. I thought, well, you've kind of given me a boost. This would be good news for you to hear too. And it was very interesting. That just wasn't the case. It was almost the opposite. It almost seemed like that good slice of news was almost the opposite. Not that they were lukewarm or a little bit happy, like it just seemed like a turn off completely. And so, as always, this channel, I give you the clinical, the practical, and I always include the spiritual. And I went into prayer because it hurt my feelings a little bit. I was a little confused by it. And the Lord dealt with me. You have to understand this person is prominent in the world, and, you received an opportunity that they would have loved to have an honor and an opportunity. And I just never, I promise you, it was just done innocence, a pure, hey, thumbs up, thank you for your help. This is kind of what occurred. And so that was a little lesson for me there too. Just in terms of, your career, your work, and, some of us, we're entrepreneurs, we're building, just, when you get those little props and accolades, give yourself that high five, and you need to keep going and be very selective, let's say, where you're tooting your horn, if you will. I want to say a couple words about anxiety, the role of anxiety in oversharing. They do go hand in hand. And a lot of folks have shared with me over the years, Sheila, I just get so pumped up. I'm so excited. And before I know it, all this extra information is spilling out, and I'm talking fast. I'm not really thinking. What anxiety does, if you don't have a means and mechanism to work with yourself to control it, on a daily basis, a consistent basis, it puts your reactions will jump out before your brain has had a chance to catch up and kind of make some adjustments. Happens all the time. So let me share a story, then I'm going to share some ways to start getting a handle. If you're an anxious person and that leads to over talking, oversharing, it's time to get a handle on it today, because it probably has cost you, if you're being honest with yourself. So someone had shared with me, Sheila, an ex-boyfriend that I was seeing so many years ago, took a position, different department than me. The building is massive. I probably see him once a year in an all staff meeting. We work different shifts, and I'm having dinner at home. I'm, with my partner. We're happy. This man is married, and the anxiety kicks in, and I'm nervous. And I mention it to my husband. And as soon as I did it, I just kicked myself. I'm like, why did you? This was absolutely, I did not need to mention this. It just wreaked havoc for months and months and months. And it was my anxiety. It just wasn't a reason in the world to go ahead and share that. And that's the kind of example of what can happen in terms of when this oversharing is paired with anxiety. You'll say things and get yourselves in sticky situations. A sidebar also on oversharing, particularly in the arena of relationships. I really want to strike some things home here. First of all, a couple of nuanced points I'm going to make. When you're entering into a new relationship, this is where a lot of people make a lot of errors here. Oversharing about your past. You can just overshare too much, unnecessary, irrelevant tidbits. You're bringing them into this blossoming new relationship, giving people points of concern to be worried about. If it's relevant to the current relationship, Okay, understandable, but totally irrelevant things. People say, oh, here she asked me, how many people have you slept with and what did you do? No, that's completely can do nothing but derail. We need to really think about this here. What areas you're sharing? I had a gentleman, he reached out to me and said, oh, I just feel like I need to cleanse my soul. I want my partner to know I don't want there to be any secrets between us. A couple of years prior, he had an affair with someone. He wanted to share this and unburden his soul. And I just asked him, how is sharing that? You said the relationship is in a good place. You're sorry for it. I can understand, going to God, make, repentance, give yourself a penalty. How is that going to bring you closer in this relationship, revealing something that occurred 3 years ago? And he went ahead. Sometimes people reach out to me for advice and they take it. Understandable. Sometimes they don't. It's your choice. I don't thrust my thoughts and opinions on anyone. But if you come for advice, I'm going to give you advice. And so he decided I'm going to unburden myself and share it. And it just unleashed holy hell. Unleashed holy hell as I thought it would. It went down a torrent of other avenues and just upended the relationship. In my opinion, it was a classic overshare that was unnecessary. All he did was, put this other human being, you already stepped out in the relationship. You've done that already. And then you put the burden, as you said, I wanted to unburden myself. So you passed the burden on. It was absolutely unnecessary. I can see if there was an element that came up, oh my God, I stepped out. This person is pregnant. I need to, different nuanced things, but I'm just asking folks to just please think and have context. Why am I sharing this? What possibly may come from it? So again, we're on this theme with oversharing. I want to talk about sharing out of a sense of excitement and a need for validation. We've all done this. I certainly have. I can recall sharing with a family member, and the moment was just so profound for me and just hit me like a ton of bricks. And it just changed how I think about sharing good news and validation. After many, many years of being single, I found a great person. I was so happy, announced my engagement. And this family member kind of now was just lukewarm, but kind of held the phone in silence. And it just was kind of knocked my socks off, if you will. And I don't say there's nothing wrong with when you have good news and you're excited to share. What I'm saying, I want you to be careful because you could be hurt, not so much about them, but if you're oversharing with a person who sadly, and there's many people that do this, you will have the best news, great intentions, and they don't hear it that way. They don't not listen to it, but listen it, the entirety of what you're saying. They hear it and listen it very different. And it puts them into a mode of comparison. And I've seen that over and over again. And it is an area that I try so hard and just to keep a regenerated, purified heart, to be the kind of person that can receive the news and lift others up in their news. But if your heart is in the right place and you're sharing that good news with someone whose heart is not in the right place, not saying they're a bad person, I'm saying they're out of alignment, that divine alignment that allows you to hear that good news and lift, it can be very damaging. And at the point where that occurred, I was not where I am spiritually or in my emotional development. And so it really, it hurt me. Today I could be like, okay, you're compromised, whatever the case. I share good news, you're compromised, and just keep moving. But at the time, it really hurt me. So one of the things that I want to share, after that, I just went, went to God, went deeper into myself. And I said, you know what? I need to really work with myself. I don't need to be getting validation from folks. What I do now when something beautiful and special happens, I take a moment, I just put my hand over my heart, skin to skin, take a moment and close my eyes and really just give myself that, hey, this is wonderful news. Job well done. The first celebration is always belongs to me. I have that celebration with myself and the creator. And then beyond that, there's just a select people in my life, that celebratory circle that I choose to share with, and we do that to keep us, that certain clip of good momentum. But I'll say this: strive to be the kind of person in life that can hear the good news of others, and and lift them up with that. And then a quick word about when we're oversharing to bragging, or we need that feather in our cap, or to one-upsmanship. People will do that. I have someone in my circle now who um they do that. I know why they do it, and I just let it go, and I know why they like to brag. I just give them the validation because, quite frankly, they need it. But I could tell you, most people, it's simply a turn off. And I think the more confident we are within ourselves, we don't need to compete, we don't need to brag. We go through this life with, what, all is well, high five and keep moving. So, in summary, what I want to say is this: um, oversharing, oversharing, talking too much. I started out with some of the reasons we do that. If any of this sounds like you, what you want to do is just go deep inside, get quiet, and just get into the strategies. Because part of the reason we're here, my opinion, all we're doing is just perfecting for our creator. No one is perfect, or you wouldn't be here. But there are things and habits that we can develop that either make our lives extremely difficult or a lot easier and more pleasant. And I want you to have a pleasant experience on your sojourn here. I hope some of what I've shared in the message today is helpful for you. Listen, don't be greedy. Share the news of the channel with your friends and family. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, and please do subscribe. Thank you so much. I'll be back real soon with some more elevating content.